Dusty. I'm the high school pastor here at New Covenant Bible Church. First, let's start off with announcements. Remember that if you have applications for serving teams, get those in. If you need a new one, come contact me. Also, remember that March 3rd is the Secret Keeper Girl. So ladies, if you're interested, let me know because we need you soon. In the last announcement, Mexico trip. Hey, we're going to have an informational meeting this next Sunday, so come and join us if you're interested in going to Mexico. I want to talk to you about walking and talking worship. We're going to be going through what it means to walk and talk worship. It's one thing to walk it. It's another thing to just talk about it. I think a lot of us talk through our worship. We say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but then we never actually do anything. It's like, what good is it if we never actually do anything with it? So tonight I want to introduce a question to you. Do I live at a pace that allows me to be available to those around me? If not, are all the things that I'm doing more important than taking the greatest commandment that Jesus ever gave literally? Is it more important to me to do the other things than to follow Jesus? That's the question that I want to ask you. Is it more important for me to do the things that I want to do instead of following what Jesus has asked me to do? What's the greatest commandment? I'll give you a couple seconds. What's the greatest commandment? Yeah, love God, love people. Matthew 22:36-39 says this, "Teacher, what's the greatest commandment in the law?" And he, that's Jesus, said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all of your soul, with all your heart, and with all your mind. This is the greatest commandment. And second like it is that you shall love your neighbor as yourself." Well, so what if we broke it down? What do the verses talk about? So love God, love your neighbor, right? Think of two arrows. Love God up, love your neighbor. So we talk about the cross. We say love God, love your neighbor. Love the one who created you. Love the ones who were created with you. So we were all made in the image of God, and so to love God means that we're loving people. To love people means we have to start with this vertical relationship with loving God. If you don't love God, you can't love people. If God's not pouring into you, you can't pour into others. You're empty, you're dry, you're a broken glass. So how do we love God? Well, we love God through two ways, through obedience and worship it. And we love God through obedience and worshiping Him. We love Him, so we obey His commandments. Jesus said, if you love me, you'll obey my commandments. But by doing this, we love others. When we love others, we're actually being obedient to Him. We're actually worshiping Him. See, we do it at the same time. We love Him by following Him. Well, He told us, hey, go out and love your neighbors as you love yourself. What man doesn't love himself? I love myself. Let's be honest. I love myself. You love yourself, most likely. So if we obey His commandment to love others, we're actually being obedient and worshiping Him at the same time. But loving others, guys, it takes time. So let me ask you this. Do you have time in your normal day from when you wake up to when you go to sleep to actually love others? Or is your day such a rush? You're just busy, and you have no time to actually fulfill the greatest commandment that Jesus ever gave. Love God and love others. There's a book called The Art of Neighboring, and in it there's a quote that says, "Love and hurry are fundamentally incompatible. Love and hurry are fundamentally incompatible. Love always takes time, and time is the one thing that hurried people don't have." See, if you're rushing from point A to point B with little space in between, we call that margin. If you're rushing about from A to B so quickly that you never take the time to look around you at the people who need your actual help, are you really fulfilling the greatest commandment? Can you really say to me, yeah, Dusty, I'm doing my best? Probably not. Am I doing my best? Probably not. But that's what we're talking about. Jesus commands us to do our best, to follow Him, to love God, but to love others as well. Are you too busy to love others? Is it too much time to pray and ask God to show you one person in your life today that you could minister to, that you could witness to, that you could share the gospel to? See, we were put on this earth to share the gospel. That's our goal, to worship God, to give glory to God, and we do that through sharing His gospel, which is the good news. You see, the world is lost without hope. The world is lost and without hope. And without you doing your job, which is to share the gospel, you're not actually sharing hope. You're not actually doing your job. You're not actually fulfilling the commandment that Jesus gave. In fact, you're not actually loving people. You're not actually loving people. It's a harsh reality, but we got to come to grips with the fact that maybe we are not actually living out the gospel, because the gospel says go. The gospel says go. And if you're never going, then you're not actually doing. You're not actually doing the gospel. Matthew 28:19 says this, "Go therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all the things that I've commanded you. And behold, I'm going to be with you to the end of the age." Jesus gave us his Spirit. We talked about that on Sunday. Jesus sent his Spirit. He says, better if I go, that you might have the Spirit. Guys, it's better that we follow Jesus and go. He said, go and baptize. Go, give the gospel. Remember that I gave you a challenge a week ago to go and give your life to somebody, life book to somebody. If you haven't given your life book to somebody yet, then you need to do that. You have 1 week. And I'm going to come back next week and we're going to talk about that. And if you haven't done it, I should do it. Do it. You need to go give that life book to anybody. Pray. Say, God, I'm just going to carry this life book around until I see somebody that you say give it to. Go and give it to them and say, hey, would you like to read through this with me? Pray. I've got 4 steps for you for that life book. 1, go and ask God who you should give it to. Easy. Go and pray and ask him. He'll show you. He's going to show you. Number 2, ask if they would want to read through it with you. Hey, walk up to somebody, hey, would you go read this with me? I love you enough. I want to read this with you. And you need to have a day, a time, and a place picked out. Say, hey, on Thursdays, I'm getting together with another guy, another girl in youth group. We're going to read through this life book together. Would you like to join us? Hey, we're going to go. You're not interested in the life book? How about the Bible? You want to read the Bible through? Let's go. Let's go do it. Number 3 is follow through and do it. Actually, don't just say, hey, want to go read this life book with me? And when they say, yeah, you never follow through. And they're like, I wonder what happened to that flake. Don't know what actually happened to that dude. That's right. We got to be actually doers and following through. And then enjoy. Step number 4 is just to enjoy all the blessings that comes with actually living out the gospel. See, we're told to be doers of the word and not hearers only. Guys, it's time to step out of our comfort zone, to step out of where we are as a New Covenant youth group, and to step out and go. We've been training for so long, and it's time to step out and to go. And if we don't go, we're not obeying Christ. And if we're not obeying Christ, we're not worshiping God. So are we walking the walk, or are we just talking about the walk? I'm done talking about the walk, and I hope that you're done talking about the walk. Let's stop talking and do more walking. If I'm hungry and I want to go to the fridge, it does no good for me to just talk about the food in the fridge. In fact, it makes it worse. What I need to do is get up and walk and go do, and then I'll be filled. Guys, if you're going to be in union with the Spirit of God, if you're going to be continually doing what he's asking, you've got to go and get up and walk. Get off your couch. Stop being lazy. That's what we, you, and me have to do. Let's go. Let's change the world for Jesus Christ. Guys, I love you. And love comes with speaking the truth. And the truth is, I don't think a lot of us are good at this. I don't think a lot of us are where Jesus wants us to be. The love that you were given in Jesus, that was given to you so that you could share it with others. A book was never written to be just put on a shelf. It was meant to be read. God's given you a unique story that's meant to be shared with others. It's meant to be read before others. So join me. You've got 1 more week. Share your life book with another person. Say, can I read it with you? Go and do it. Have a time, a location, a place. Go and do it. Follow through. And then watch God bless you as you step into somebody else's life and show them Jesus Christ. And hey, if you need me, if you need a sponsor to walk through it with you, we would be more than happy to. If you're sitting there saying, hey, I don't know how to do this whole gospel thing, teach me. Hey, I would love to teach you, but remember at Speed Friending, we taught you. All it is sitting down across from one another and sharing the deep things of your life, sharing the shallow things of your life, sharing Jesus in your life. That's all it is. That's all that God requires of us. It's easy, but we have to just go. We can't just sit here any longer. Jesus isn't happy with that. God is not happy with that. And honestly, if you were to reflect in the mirror, I can bet you and guarantee that you're not happy. You want to experience all that the gospel is, you want to experience all that Jesus has for you, then go. So join me this next week. We're going to go. We're going to go and we're going to share that life book. We're going to go and meet with that person who needs hope. Go into your schools. Do what you need to do. Do what you've been called to do. You want to know what God's will is for your life? Where am I going to go for college? What am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to date? Hey, start with what you do know you're supposed to do. Start with sharing the gospel. And when you start living a life that is pleasing to God, when you start actually following Him and stop talking about it, guess what's going to happen to you? He's going to bring all of the rest into your hand. I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly, or have it to the full. Don't you want that? If you want that, so do I. And having life to the full, we have it in Jesus Christ and the blood that He paid for on the cross. But just as we have a relationship with God, so we have to go and share that with others. So go. Share it with others. Tonight's cold. Start tomorrow. Start tomorrow. Because there's a lot of cold hearts out there. They need the warmth. Imagine if this winter never ended. What would life be without the sun? It's death. What would life be without the light of Christ shining forth from your life? It's death. Because if they don't know the truth, they're going to die, and I mean be separated from God eternally. So give life. Give your life book.